तप्त जीवनम कविभिडीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवण श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with the Brahmo devotees at their festival in Sithi area of North Kolkata on Sunday, 19th of October 1884. Let us recapitulate the salient points discussed 2 weeks ago, because last Sunday we could not meet due to the mantra diksha of our Vice President Maharaj, Srimad Swami Prabhupada ji. There was one sub-judge present in the Brahmo festival. He was a very respected person and also a devotee. He asked certain salient questions which are relevant for all of us. He was a householder, so the questions were relevant for the householders at that time and also at the present. So let us recapitulate the points already discussed in our last couple of classes. The goal of life is to realize God and to gain immortality. Immortality means an eternal, constant position. Mortal is that decays. Immortality that does not decay. Now what is our problem? Our problem is we are subjected to repeated birth and death. Whoever is born must die, and whoever dies must be born again to fulfill the unfulfilled, unsatiated desires left over in this life. Desire is the fuel which takes us on and on. As Buddha says, it is Trishna, thirst for worldly enjoyments. In Pali, it is called Tanha, thirst. That takes us on. So whatever desires we have, that become partly fulfilled in this life, and something remains. But the life has a span. This material body has certain longevity, material longevity. When it is over, the body becomes unusable. Then what happens? But the mind is strong, mind is subtle. So all the desires are accumulated in the mind, and this mind with our soul rejects its body when it gets old and unusable, and takes up another fresh body. This process is called death and birth. Death means is rejection of this physical body. Birth is taking over to another body, fresh body. As has been said in the Bhagavad Gita, it is like changing our garment. When garment gets old, torn, we throw it away and take up a new garment. Basangsi jirinani jatha bihaya. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned. So this is an unending process, because our desires are never getting satisfied. It is like trying to quench a fire by adding more and more fuel. Fire cannot be extinguished by adding fuel to it. So desires we are trying to fulfill by enjoyment, which increases the desire. Bhuyo eva abhivardhate. Najatu kama kama nam bhuvagana shammati. Habisha Krishna Bhartmeva. It's like adding habisha, clarified butter, fuel to the fire in trying to extinguish it. It's a futile attempt. So this is our problem. So the goal is to get rid of this mortal changes of body and become immortal, permanent existence. You are not subjected to birth and death. And the scriptures say there is only one way, and that is Tyaga. It is equally applicable for all, whether it is a sannyasins or householder or male or female, Indian, foreign, only one door to immortality. Tyage naike amritattva manashuhu. By renunciation alone, immortality is attained. And this has been emphasized by saying, Tyage na ekena. By renunciation alone, there is no other different channel. Now the problem comes for the householders. They are engaged in family commitments. They are, by their nature of their livelihood, they are engaged in a life of enjoyment. So then that comes down to the conclusion that Tyaga is not possible for householders, and that's why this realization of this God or this attainment of this immortality is out of question for householders. This is the common belief made among the householders. So this question was put to Sri Ramakrishna, that if a householder wants to attain immortality, wants to realize God, does he or she has to be necessarily give up the worldly pursuits, renounce the world? संसार क्या छोड़ना पड़ेगा ईश्वर लाभ करने के लिए? संसार में तो त्याग संभव नहीं है. This was the very relevant question. Now Sri Ramakrishna says this is not at all necessary. Renunciation is possible even while living in a householder's life, and he adds something more, that it is not only possible, it is more congenial. The life of renunciation is more congenial to be practiced in an householder's environment, where one doesn't have to beg food from outside, then go from pillar to post for other necessities of life. Everything is provided from the household, even medication at times of need. So this is a more congenial atmosphere. So then the question is how to practice renunciation while in this householder's life. Sri Ramakrishna says there is no harm to live in a householder's life, but there is one rider. One has to be careful to remain detached through prayer in solitude. So people quote the example of Janaka. Janaka was a very successful king, and he was also a realized soul. So Sri Ramakrishna says Janaka attained this exalted stage even while running a very busy kingdom was possible because he attained detachment, anasakti, through sadhana. This we must remember. It is possible to live in a householder's condition, more congenial, provided we fulfill the condition of remaining. This tyaga does not mean giving up hearth and home. Tyaga means anasakti, detachment. The detachment has to be gained through prayer in solitude. एकांतवास, कभी कभी एकांतवास होना चाहिए, निर्जन में जाके प्रार्थना करनी चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए. Then he concludes, he wants to confirm. Is it possible to realize God? First of all, he said that renunciation is not necessary. Second question is it possible to realize God in a householder's condition? He says yes. So then the question was asked, how will we know that we are about to realize God? Is there a symptom? लक्षण है, कुछ है, ला है. What is that? Sri Ramakrishna says, when you develop love for God and by the name of God you become inebriated, you become dissolved, tears roll down if your eyes, you become totally dissolved, then know for sure you are close to God. When we shed tears for any pain, any difficulty, any mishap, any loss, then we take it for granted. It's a normal procedure. It is a natural consequence. But when we shed tears, just out of nothing, we become afraid. Why tears are coming? Am I become insane? Am I not normal? Sri Ramakrishna says, when you become close to God, so tears show that you have developed genuine love for God. So that is a positive symptom in your progress to the path of spirituality. This is the point he clarifies here. So now the question was asked that how we can develop this love for God. Then he says you must pray to God in solitude, and when you have developed love for God, then there is another symptom that you will transcend body consciousness. Dehatma buddhi atikram kar jaoge. Now Dehatma buddhi means what? Deha atma. That is, presently our wrong notion is I am the body. Deha atma. I am the body. This is the normal understanding that we identify ourselves with this physical body, which we are not. But that is a common practice. Most of you are carrying an identity card in your pocket, ID. Now you take out the identity card, there is a photograph. That is your ID. There is photograph of your physical body. Then some parameters are written. Your blood group, which is of the physical body, your height, your weight, your name, your designation. All is attached to this physical form. And we take it for granted, that is I am this body, which is wrong. When we realize God, then we transcend this body consciousness. Now what is the benefit of transcending body consciousness? Benefit is, when this body is subjected to pleasure and pain, I become happy and sorry respectively. I do not become happy and sorry if you have some pain or pleasure, because I have not identified myself with you, but I have wrongly identified myself with this body. So the body is subjected to pain, then I am feeling pain, because I think I am the body. This is the basic mistake of life. Then, when we grow, then we change our stand. Then we feel, no, I am not the body, I have this body. मैं शरीर नहीं हूँ, ये शरीर मेरा है. वो भी गलत है. This body also do not belong to me. Because if it were, I could protect it, I could retain it, I cannot. When the body's term is over, it will go. Then it comes, thirdly, that I am within this body. मैं शरीर के भीतर हूँ. So there is feeling of I and there is a feeling of body. Some differentiation is felt first. First, I and body is one, no difference. Then the thought comes, I am different from the body. So I is called Dehi, this body is called Deha. Sharir, Shariri, Deha, Atma, body, soul, two different things. So first, when you go towards God, this differentiation is felt. Then this identification vanishes. देह ही आत्मा है, ये भ्रम लोप हो जाता है. Then Deha and Atma, body and soul, becomes two distinct entities. And that happens when you are very close to God. That's what he says. Then what happens? That the pain and pleasure of the body will not able to touch us. It's possible, those who are God realized people. I'll give you a practical example. Swami Turiyananda Maharaj, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, Sannyasin disciples, very exalted character, he was living in Benares Sevashram. He was a God realized soul. Now he developed carbuncle on his back. पीठ में carbuncle हुआ था, भयानक, बहुत दर्दपूर्ण है, very painful. And the doctors, Sevastram is a hospital center, the doctors suggested, advised that it cannot be cured, it has to be operated. Surgical intervention is necessary to get rid of this carbuncle from his body. So they took him to the operation theatre, and before the surgical operation, the anesthetist was called because he has to be under GA, general anesthesia. It's a very painful surgical process. Then he said, what you are now going to do? He said, we now put anesthesia, आपको बेहोश कर देंगे, कोई दर्द आपको महसूस नहीं होगा. उन्होंने बताया ज़रूरत नहीं. कहाँ तुम ऑपरेशन करोगे? बोले पीठ में. छोड़ो, रुको थोड़ा. Then he said, go ahead, you don't have to do any anesthesia. They say, you do not require? Well, no, absolutely not. The surgeon did the operation, and the operation is over. Then, when the operation is over, then they said that how could you not feel any pain? He says, I am not this body, so I have withdrawn my consciousness from the body. The body is separate, I am separate. What is the difficulty? As I do not feel any pain, if you feel in your body, because I feel I am different, which is again wrong. We have a communal understanding. So when a person grows in spirituality, instead of feeling pain in his own body, he starts feeling pain felt in others. That is called sympathy, samavedana. That also happens in the life of saints. So you may think, when we go towards God, then we do not feel any pain. That is not true. We do not feel any pain of this body, but we feel pain of others. Our heart expands. It's not that going towards God is a very exalted condition where there is no pain. पेन रहेगा, औरों के लिए दुख रहेगा, ये शरीर के लिए नहीं. Their domain, their range, dimension expands. Swami Vivekananda was sleeping in Belur Math. Suddenly at night he got up. He became extremely restless. He was pacing up and down. He was feeling extreme pain. Then his sevak asked, why are you so much distressed? What has happened? He thought some physical problems have come. He is not feeling easy. He said, nothing has happened to this body, but I feel a great pain because some people are distressed at some distant area. They are very distressed. So that pain has been felt in this heart. Following morning, it came in the paper, then in Japan, one sheep got drowned, and the people, they were crying and wailing at the point of death. So those cry touched the heart of Swami Vivekananda staying in Balloon Mott. It's not that he was having very easygoing life. One day in Balaram Mandir, he was found weeping. Then he was telling within himself, घायल का दर्द घायल जाने और न जाने कोई. Then Girish Chandra Ghosh asked him that what is your pain? He says it is the pain of the distressed, those who are suffering, those who are in need of some help and succor. That cumulative pain is touching my heart. Nobody will be able to understand. So this sort of development, differentiation from body and soul comes when we reach very close to God. Now, the question was asked in today's system that you are telling that we should pray while in solitude in order to develop detachment, anasakti, and then stay in the world. But where is the time? We don't have so much time. The leaves are limited, and that is exhausted in so many errands of the household duties. So what is our way? Those who do not have time to call on God, Sri Ramakrishna says, then you give Sharanagati. Resign at the will of God. It's a great advice Sri Ramakrishna is giving for the householders. Do not feel that you are helpless. You resign. Depend on Him. Depend on God. Thinking Him your very own. This reorientation of mind is necessary. God is not a distant person. God is our very own. Make Him your very own. And then he says, God has given you some duties. In your household, there are some duties that are assigned for you. In your profession, you are doing some duties that is assigned. Not by your boss, but by God. Remember this. You are doing work in your domestic environment and professional environment and discharging the duties assigned to you by God Himself, not by anyone else. So imagine this, think this, that it is God's work and I will try to discharge to the best of my ability. And then whatever become the fruit, good or bad, if I do good way, some good fruits will come. If you do bad way, bad fruits will come. I offer these fruits of action to the feet of God and I am free. This phala samarpan buddhi, karma phala samarpan buddhi will make us free from the attachment to work, from the attachment to world. This buddhi, this thinking, this vichar, this analysis in the mind is a mental analysis and which is not bogus. This is the real truth that we are given this work assigned by God and we discharge it to the best of my ability with the strength that also provided by Him. I don't have strength, but whatever strength is given, I must exhaust all my strength within my capacity. We should not retain anything. We must exhaust all the capacity, power within us. That may not be sufficient to achieve success. That may not be sufficient to fulfill my target. But we must get exhausted by putting our whole soul on the job assigned by God, and then whatever be the result, we resign. It is his work and fruits belong to him. As a person who is working on behalf of someone, the construction workers are building a house, beautiful house. He is assigned to make the construction. He is not making the construction for himself. After the house is completed, he salutes and goes. Someone else comes and leaves. Similarly, the work you do it with the full sincerity and then leave it at the feet of God. Your work, thy work has been done. So that's how we can develop detachment and then the Sharanagati. Now the point has been asked, which was also discussed, that when we are in the world, we are given some duties in the household and professional field. Now how long should we continue these duties? Is there any time for retirement? Or I do up to the last breath of my life for duties of the world. Every household has some duties for his dependents, for his spouse and children. Sri Ramakrishna is very specific. He is saying that when you have children, it is your bounded duty, the duty of the family, to take care of them, maintain them, and make them self-reliant, to make them so that they can be on their own. Do not make them dependent on you. You help them till they are independent, but not forever. Children are not made on the shoulder for the end, towards the end of their life. That's what being done. The child is given to studies, schools and colleges. The parents study more than the student. I found a doctor in a hospital. His daughter was getting an admission test in Loreto College. He says that myself and my wife are making more studies to make this child. So I said, it is not for you. You have to infuse the child to grow on its own. Do not do spoon feeding. So that is point Sri Ramakrishna says, let them grow on their own. And when they are grown, leave them alone. You have other duties of life. That we must be careful. Sri Ramakrishna gave very, very practical suggestion for the householders. The life is given to realize God, not to maintain the family till the last breath. We say it is my family duty. How long? He specifically says, you have to take care of your children, make them self-reliant, and then leave them alone. Let them do their business on their own. Watch them from a distance. Have out your best wishes. Then you turn inside and do the work, the duty left for you, which could not be done so far. Your own spiritual pursuit, your own connection with God within. And then the most important duty is the spouse. How long to take care? The wife has to take care of the husband has to take care of the wife. Says there must be a provision that even if you are away, the other one is not left over. There should be some provision. All the family provision should be made, financial and otherwise. When the provision is made, then you are free. Then you can devote all your time for the development of a spiritual pursuit. This we must remember. We not only take care of our children, make them self-reliant, get them married, then we take the responsibility of rearing the grandchildren, next generation. And we say that if I do not take care, who will take care of them? Now your children are supposed to take care of their children. But we go one step forward, forgetting that we have some duties left for ours also, that we forget. This is not possible, not expected from spiritual aspirants. We must have goal orientation. Our goal of life is to realize God in this very life, with this body. If we go on taking care of all the people of the world, then we are mistaken. Our goal is lost. Now, with this, Sri Ramakrishna says that after the completion of your duties, then you have to pray that your attraction for the world gets diminished. As has been said, that until we develop a distaste for the enjoyments of the world, we cannot concentrate on the thought of God. We have a natural propensity to get involved in the external world. It's a natural propensity. In order to turn the mind from the attractions from the world and draw it towards the feet of God, there is only one method: intense prayer. Intense prayer is only one method, Sri Ramakrishna is saying, because it comes only as a grace of God. Those who have attained grace of God, then their mind is turned within. For rest of all, the mind is turned to the external world. It's constantly going out. So you are not able to see the God within. Unless we see the God within, we will not be able to see God without. God is present both inside and outside. First, He has to be seen within the core of our heart. And then we see the same God all around us. So first He has to be seen at the depth of our meditation, depth of our concentration within. If you are constantly focused outside, where is the time and scope of seeing God within? So we have to pray to God so that He may turn our attention inward. Unless He turns this, we cannot see. God has turned our attention outside. It is done by Him. Paranchi khani betnat sambhyu tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman. Bhagavan has given this turning outside system. That's why I do not see. Kaschid dhiraha pratyakatmana maishat avrita chakshur amritatvam icchan. Some wise people, they are not interested to see things in the external world only. They want to turn their attention inside. That turning over, that turning point is possible only through the grace of God, for which intense prayer is necessary. Now Sri Ramakrishna says that you must realize to whom are you praying. You are not praying to an outsider. God is your very own. You can demand. Do not think that you are begging. Your position, relation with God is not a beggar and a master, donor. Your relation is mother-child relation. So when a mother and child are very close, child knows the mother very own. It does not beg, it demands. So with that attitude, if you pray, then the prayers are quickly answered. It takes time. He gives here an example that a child wanted some money for purchasing a kite to play. पतंग के लिए पैसा मांगा था. उस जमाना में एक पैसा काफ़ी था, मतलब एक पैसा मांगा. The mother did not give. So नहीं होगा. Then he went on saying, now the mother was busy in gossiping with her friends. The noon time is the leisure time. Mother was busy in gossiping, and बीच में लड़का बड़ा परेशान कर रहे थे. पैसा दो. नहीं होगा, चलो भागो यहाँ से. but the bachcha suna nahi. Now, normally what happens when you pray, prayers are not answered, then we take it for granted. हम क्या करेंगे, भगवान तो सुना नहीं, छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए. Follow the example of the child. Sri Ramakrishna says, जो बच्चा को बोला पैसा नहीं मिलेगा, notwithstanding he went on disturbing the mother. मदर परेशान हो गए. देन उसके बाद वो रोना शुरू किया. become all the men distressed, and when चिल्ला के रोना शुरू कर दिया, तब तो वो कहानी बंद हो गया. Then he could not continue his gossiping with his friends, because इतना रोना धोना शुरू कर दिया. Then she says, please wait. Told her सहेली, थोड़ा बैठो, बच्चा को पहले संभाल लेके आते हैं. Then just watch the words, how Sri Ramakrishna explains the story, wonderful story in the Gospel. Then, first of all, she ignores. Then she intimidates. देखो तुम अगर इसे तंग करोगे, तुम्हारा पिताजी जब लौटेंगे शाम को बता दूंगी, तुमको बहुत डांटेंगे, तुमको पीटेंगे, ऐसे मत किया करो. So she gives then order of punishment. पिताजी को बता दूंगी, ऐसे मत किया करो, हरकत मत करो. बच्चा सुना नहीं, जो भी कुछ कहे, हमको पैसा चाहिए, देना ही पड़ेगा. नहीं हुआ तो रोना शुरू किया, फिर चिल्ला के रोना शुरू कर दिया. तब तो मदद देखे इसको तो संभालना मुश्किल है. तो देन शी गोज, मजबूर होके जाते हैं. इट्स नॉट विद हैप्पी माइंड, बिकॉज द गॉसिप इज डिस्टर्ब. शी गोज, शी ओपन्स द कैश बॉक्स with a sound. He opens the cash box and then takes out a piece and throws to the boy. It doesn't give, throws it away. Hello, तुम्हारा पैसा, चलो यहाँ से. But the boy gets the reward. Whether mother gives with love or hatred or anger doesn't matter. I want the reward. I want the vision of God. I want detachment from this body. I want immortality. I want to have intense love for God. Whether God gives it, being pleased or unpleased, is immaterial. Till then, we must keep on asking and praying without respite. So goal orientation is necessary. I fixed my goal that I must realize God here and now with this body. Till that is answered, we must keep on. We should not feel afraid or embarrassed that why should I disturb him. I have asked several times. If he does not give, then perhaps I am not fit. This is the crux of the problem. We do not have self-dignity. We do not have confidence on us. That is the crux of the problem. We must be confident that I am eligible to realize God. It is my birthright. I have inherited. The boy has inherited the property of the parents. He is not asking something. As it is due to him, mother has to give, provided it is asked. Ask and it shall be given you. You have to ask, constantly ask. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Seek and ye shall find it. We ask and then we compromise. अरे इतना बार प्रार्थना किया, कुछ नहीं होता है, होगा नहीं, होगा नहीं. जब तक नहीं सुनेंगे हम हिट करते जाएंगे. And who is he? He is my very own. He cannot be angry. Mother cannot be angry with the child. Mother's most lovable item is the child. Mother knows, child does not know. The child who knows, he will win. We must realize that we are not leftovers. We are not here orphans, orphan child. We may have certain deficiency, but mother, it is the duty of the mother to take care of my deficiency. If a child is handicapped, mother has more love for the child. The child need not worry. If the child is not properly clad, mother कहती है, मेरा बच्चा अगर धूल में सन जाए तो कौन उठाने वाले हैं, उसको साफ करने का ड्यूटी मेरी है. सो धूल में सन जाने से कोई हरकत नहीं. Mother ko prarthana karna chahiye. Constantly pray. That's what Sri Ramakrishna is saying. This is the secret of God realization. Instant, constant, heating prayer with whatever earnestness we have. We need not compare. I may not have so much of depth of Vyakulta as Sri Ramakrishna had. Never mind. Whatever we have, that resources, we must constantly pray to God and stop not till the goal is reached. And goal must come. He has to compromise. He has to yield. Antorik, kende kende, dakle tini shunben. He's giving with emphasis. Emphatically he says, he has to hear because he is our very own. And when we develop this intimacy to God, there is a positive approach to God. And this, when we develop intimacy, then God has to come to our level. We continue further in our next Sunday class. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavattaram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Some announcement. Next Saturday we have Ramnam Sankirtan after evening Aarti. And next Sunday is the birthday celebration of Swami Muktinathananda ji, one direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, Shashi Maharaj, the apostle of the South India. So his life and teachings will be discussed by me next Sunday, this after the evening Aarti. So there is on 31st of July, after evening Aarti, his life and teachings will be discussed. On Saturday evening, 30th July, we will have Ramnam Sankirtan. We close now with the chanting of the Lord. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Please join. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om Ramakrishna. Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om.